as a little bonus, I'm going to give you a weed killer here, a more friendly weed killer. Yeah, obviously, the better than the shit that we are pumped with. So, weed be gone. 1 gallon of vinegar, 2 cups of Epsom salt, and a quarter eco-friendly dish soap. It will kill anything you spray it on. Just mix and spray in the morning after the dew has evaporated. Walk away, go back after dinner, and the weeds are all gone. Cheaper than anything you can buy anywhere. Never use or buy Roundup because it is poisonous to you as well as anyone else. Also, while we're on this subject, if you have any plants and you suffer with aphids on them, the eco-friendly washing up liquid, again spraying that onto them will get rid of the aphids and not harm the plant. When a nurse takes up gardening. Grandma useful tips. Cold cough. Take 1 tablespoon honey in lukewarm water, mix with a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon powder daily for 3 days. It is very helpful to cure most chronic cough, cold and clear sinuses. Organic is always better, and cinnamon is really, really good for you. Flaws, I've got them. Laws, I broke them. Dues, I paid them sometimes. Scars, I bear them. Lessons, I learned them. Problems, still have them. That's life, still love it. Every drug that has been recalled by the FDA was first proven to be safe and effective by the FDA. So in other words, the privately run Federal Drugs Administration, for profit, bought and paid for by Big Pharma, approved drugs, but because they had a higher kill rate than they were supposed to, they withdrew some of them. Whenever the immune system successfully deals with an infection, it emerges from the experience stronger and better able to confront similar threats in the future. Our immune system develops in combat. If at the first sign of infection you always jump in with antibiotics, you do not give the immune system a chance to grow stronger. So let's leave the pharmaceutical shit alone. Give your body a chance to fight it off, and only then, and even then, I wouldn't go for a pharmaceutical piece of shit. I'd go for 3% hydrogen peroxide. I get a drop a bottle, a couple of drops in your right ear. This is for coughs, colds, sore throat, anything up around that area. 2 or 3 drops in your right or left ear. We'll start with the right ear, and you'll hear it bubbling away. You need to keep your head laying down. Have a towel with you. Then after 10 minutes, tilt your head over. 3 or 4 drops in the other ear. Again, after 10 minutes, wipe any excess out. It'll bubble away, but it will get rid of any coughs, colds, flus that you have. Did you know genetically engineered canola has DNA from bacteria and viruses spliced into its DNA to help it tolerate weed killers such as Roundup? The genetic feat creates a whole new species of plant that would have never occurred in nature. A GMO label doesn't seem like too much to ask, does it? Natural news. I'm not impressed by your looks, money, social status or job title. I'm impressed by the way you treat other human beings. We can't fight homelessness, hunger or poverty, but we are going to fight climate change. Just let that sink in for a minute. The fairness of all justice systems in the West. Tanya McDowell lied about the school district she lived in so her 6-year-old could go to a better school, even though she was homeless. Sentenced to 5 years in jail. Felicity Huffman paid $15,000 to an SAT test administrator to cheat on her daughter's test so her daughter could go into a better college. Sentenced to 14 days in jail. Eton College gets 80% tax break while state schools are at breaking point. Eton College enjoys an 80% tax cut because it is a charity, while state schools should shoulder the worst cuts in a generation. The prestigious all-boys school, which changes parents $40,000 a year, is expected to save $1.4 million over the next few years thanks to the perk. It's just how corrupt everything is. We all know it, but what you've not got to do is let it get to you, because they put all this sort of shit out there so that you feel depressed. Because if they can keep you in a lower vibration, they can stop you from going, or try to stop you from going where we're going. Not all of us are going to make it, but for those that do, well done. For those that don't, well, you'll have another several 100,000 lifetimes to try and get there. Because what's coming, what we're about to go through, this is why the population is so massive at the moment, because this has never happened in any universe at all. What's about to happen here. I'm not going to fill you in any more on that, but what's about to happen, the other universes are looking at us, Earth, at this particular time, because it's so amazing what's happened, and everyone that's here wants to experience it. If you want to find out more, just look up Dolores Cannon. Scandal hit unit at RBS pressured by Treasury. Agency wants to sell business, says executive. The government pressured Royal Bank of Scotland to foreclose on business customers and acquire their properties, according to the executive who ran the bank's disgraced restructuring unit. So let me just, for those that don't get that, let me just explain it. The government forced them to go after customers and steal their property. Yes, that government, our own government that's put there, or so you would like to believe, for our benefit, has forced them to go after properties and steal them for themselves. Derek Sack, former head of RBS Global Restructuring Group, told the High Court yesterday that the Treasury agency had tried to influence many of the decisions taken by the division. Link will be in the description if you want to read the rest of it. It's a very interesting read. This is for America more than any. While you slept, the US government created internal passports. The deadline of yet another and perhaps the most insidious element of the post-9/11 initiatives, a partial list of which includes the establishment of the Transport Security Agency, the TSA, the Department of Homeland Security, which was brought in by Hitler, allegedly, in World War II, but then it's a history sign and we don't know anything about the real history, so we'll just say that we know that's supposed to have happened. A never-ending international war against a nebulous, defined, non-corporal enemy, terror, is less than 1 year from coming to fruition. Beginning no later than October 1st, 2020, citizens of all US states and territories will be required to have a real ID complement card or a US passport to board a commercial plane to enter a federal government facility. This is them pushing Big Brother yet again. And this just shows you how corrupt it is, in the West. A Michigan man unpaid his property taxes by $8.41. The county seized his property, sold it, and kept the profits. A state law allows counties to effectively steal homes over unpaid taxes and keep the excess revenue for their own budgets. An 83-year-old retired engineer in Michigan unpaid his property taxes by $8.41. In response, Oakland County seized his property, auctioned it off to settle the debt, and pocketed nearly $24,500 in excess revenue from the sale. Under Michigan law, it was all legal and hardly uncommon. Of course, we live in a fair, just society where those sort of things will never happen. Police called into Oldham full council meeting to control rowdy protesters as it descends into chaos. Residents had been asking about allegations of grooming in the borough. Basically, The councils, all councils, not just this one, but all councils are paedophile protecting councils. And when the public had decided they'd had enough and they wanted some answers, they call in the police to protect them. Let's read on a bit. Police were called into Oldham Council chamber as its full council meeting descended into chaos on Wednesday night. Residents sitting in the public gallery refused to leave before questions about historic safeguarding allegations were heard, causing proceedings to be adjourned twice. The disarray began when one resident, Debbie Cole, took on to the podium and began speaking about the deputy mayor had announced to the end of public question time. Miss Cole said she wanted to ask about the launch of a review into whether authorities, including the council and police, responded appropriately to allegations of grooming in the borough in recent years. And of course, we all know the answer to that will be no. They deliberately turned a blind eye at the best result, or knowingly allowed it, and in some cases participated in it closer to what really happened. EU deception. How Edward Heath was given £1.5 million before taking Britain into the bloc. Edward Heath has not only been accused of lying to the electorate when he took Britain into the bloc, but according to newly resurfaced reports, the former Prime Minister also received a financial reward that would be equivalent to of £1.5 million before he signed away British sovereignty. Today, Secretary-General of the United Nations Antonio Guterres will receive the 2019 Charmeleon Prize in Aachen, Germany. The annual award in ceremony is set to start at 2:15 BST. The award board of directors announced the winner in January, saying it is blah blah blah. The rest in the links in description if you want to read any of this stuff that I'm talking about here. Leaked list of Conservative Party sex pest sleaze publicised, shaming 36 current Tory MPs. Conservative Party secretaries, researchers and aides have compiled a list of 36 Tory MPs' inappropriate sexual behaviour and unwarranted advances, as senior Conservative figures have been furiously briefing to downplay sexual allegations against Tory MPs. Furious Westminster workers have been compiling proof that 11% of the party's MPs have been abusing their positions. What? MPs corrupt? Well, you could have knocked me over with a feather. Who'd have thought, eh? Who'd have thought? Conservative Party secretaries, researchers and aides have been compiling a list of 36 Tory MPs' inappropriate sexual behaviour and unwarranted advances. A senior Conservative figure has been furiously briefing to downplay sexual allegations against Tory MPs. Furious Westminster workers who have been compiling proof that 11% of the party's MPs have been abusing their positions to harass female and male employees. Surely not, because, you know, we trust our MPs to do, well, they seem to do absolutely nothing for us apart from line their own pockets, so it seems. I'm going to have a little bit of a go here at this party, the manifesto. Although, if you read the small print there, they didn't write a manifesto, so we did it for them. He actually said it on his Common Sense tour. This was Farage. We need to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare. Nigel Farage, Brexit Party candidate for the South East. Attack the NHS. The NHS is not a national treasure. It is the cause of great suffering. James Bartholomew, Brexit Party candidate for the South East. They didn't write a manifesto, so we did it for them. He actually wrote this on Twitter. Less maternity pay. The European Parliament, in their foolishness, have voted for increased maternity pay. Nigel Farage, Brexit Party. He actually wrote this on Twitter. Cash is on no deal Brexit. The pound would fall in value. Our company income streams would go up in value. So we're quids in on that front. Ben Habib. He actually said it on the Investors Champion podcast. Despite the public, the people are growing generally stupid and wrong. He actually wrote this in the Telegraph. Shame breastfeeders. It isn't too difficult to breastfeed a baby in a way that's not openly ostentatious. Perhaps sit in a corner. He actually said it on the BBC. Keep ISIS videos online. I don't think we should ban jihad videos. She actually said that on Chopper's Brexit podcast. Make the rich richer. In a no-deal Brexit, the property market in the UK would slow down dramatically. We'd be looking to pick off with the weakest in the market and get some interesting deals. Property developer and candidate for London, Ben Habib. He actually said it on the Investors Champion podcast. Waste of paper. Dillian, cop on murder charge. Racing legend sale. Booby bling terror. McCririck widow fears raiders. Oh, he's died then, hasn't he? Got cancer. Flooding hell, 98 warnings. Dales Ellis is back. Mirror. Boris Britton, 88-year-old Jill Woolley spent her life working for her beloved NHS. Now frail and suffering dementia, she's left for 6 hours on a hospital trolley, another victim of heartless Tory cuts. Shameful. But it wouldn't matter who gets in, as we've just heard, whether it's Brexit Party, Lib Dem, Labour, Conservative, it doesn't matter. Their plan is to destroy the NHS no matter what. And don't believe any of the lies that they spout or any of the pointing which they just try to do there. The Times. Police officer charged with footballer's murder by taser. Well, you know what's going to happen. He's going to walk. It's going to be found he used fair and reasonable force. Because they always get away with it, don't they? Corbyn bid to launch 1970-style cash spree. Leader not fit for office, says ex-Labour MP. A Star Reborn. James Dean acts 64 years after his death. Aye. My friend Tom. Why he quit is as Corbyn's deputy. Oh, she's talking about the renowned and well-known paedophile Tom Watson, who had horrendous Class A porn on his laptop, but, you know, deputy leader saying nothing happens. You're in the pedo gang, you can do what you like. An audience with De Niro and Pacino. Our new mafia film with Scorsese. Sam Fender, 29 Breakfast Pop Stars Talks. Great. Family rift worse for your health than marriage problems. Discovered secret up to great songwriting. Murder charge against police officer. It'll go away, you know it will. Don't stand so close to me. 2020 queuing etiquette. Whatever. Gardner Amy. Chris Packman's 10 tips to help nature. Spend. The end of austerity. Labour and Tories promise huge public investment. That's so that you vote for them, and then once they get in, they don't do it. Come on, public, you're not going to fall for this bullshit yet again, are you? Where we promise you the earth, we get in and we do nothing apart from cuts and then cuts. Both parties agreed to use low interest rates to build new roads, railways, schools and hospitals. Well, that just shows you how indoctrinated they are, because we don't need to use any interest rates. We can simply print our own money and therefore end of the Rothschild banking syndicate. But of course, all the governments are all bought and paid for by them, so that's not going to happen. Javid tears up government's fiscal rule with plan for extra 22 billion a year on national renewal. Well, if we've got 22 billion a year lying around, how about we end the homelessness, end poverty, just in the UK? No, that's not the plan. Keep them poor, keep them under control, keep them in fear, keep them lower vibration, we keep them under control. That's what it's really all about. McDonald pledges $400 billion on climate change, tackling social inequality, transport and energy. More lies and deception by the lying, deceptive people that write the papers. And they are people, not normal men or women like us. The Guardian. Labour and Tories launch bidding war on spending. Yes, we'll promise to spend all your money. Yes, it's your money, but we promise we're going to spend it. So vote for us, and then once we're in, we'll spend it on ourselves like we do every single time. So if you're voting, you're a fool. You're voting for more indoctrination and more prison planet. Policeman charged over death of footballer. Yeah. Nothing will happen. Javid and McDonald pledged to invest billions in capital projects. Well, if they've had billions and 400 billion was mentioned there, why have we had austerity for the last 10 years? Because it's all lies and smoke and mirror to make the dumb bastards that actually vote think that they're going to get something. But just think back. Over your lifetime that you voted, has voting ever made a difference? Have you ever been better off by voting? No, is the answer. Because some of you go, oh, well, yeah, they did this and they did that. And yet they may say, oh, we're going to take 1p off your tax and that. And then what do? They bring in another tax and take 10p off you. So you've never been better off whenever you vote. So voting is the biggest scam of all. Don't fall for it again. Austerity Britain is going to turn into hard hat Britain, whoever wins the next election. Utter lies and deceit. Don't fall for this bullshit. Jodie Chesney murder two found guilty. The Telegraph. Vote Conservatives, say Corbyn rebels. Jeremy Corbyn, a disgrace to his party, a disgrace to his country. 4 former Labour MPs say opposition leader is unfit to become Prime Minister and party has been poisoned. Yeah, these are all bought and paid for Zionists, of course. Don't think they're any separate. Just because they come in, and whether you're pro or against him doesn't matter, because they're all work for the same side, including these see you next Tuesdays. Lords fan accused of sex assault in pavilion. Britons drink 108 bottles of wine a year. The Chancellor is right to tear up the fiscal rule book. China's children given video game curfew. Trump alleged to have pressured law chief. Express. New alert on pension scammers. Flood chaos, 1 month's rainfall in 24 hours. Vote Boris, and that's the incredible plea from Labour Party bigwigs. And something for the parasites. Harry and Meghan salute the fallen. No, they're laughing at the fallen, because that's all these scumbags ever do. They are simply laughing at those that are dumb enough and go and fight their wars for them. Metro. More parasites. Duchess on duty. Yeah, we're laughing at you, but you're too dumb to see it. Ganging up on Corbyn. That's what all the papers are doing. Ex-Labour veterans say vote Boris after deputy quits. How about don't vote for anyone? How about if you still are desperately in need of someone leading you by the hand and then stabbing you in the back, vote for some independents. Don't vote for any of the major parties, because they're all bought and paid for. But I know many that do vote are so dumbed down, they think it's their duty to vote for whoever they think is going to make the best deal for them. And if anyone thinks Conservatives are good for them, you've got mental health issues. If you think Labour's going to be good for you, you've got mental health issues. If you think the Lib Dems are going to be any good for you, you've got mental health issues. You're indoctrinated. You're suffering from a disease, and you need to wake up and realise that it's all lies and deception. Daily Fail. Corbyn in crisis. Experts say Labour's 400 billion splurge could bankrupt Britain. New anti-Semitism storm engulfs party, and after deputy walks out, its own one ex-MP's launch campaign to back Boris. The Labour veterans who pledged vote Tory. FT. Merkel locks horns with Macron after he attacks brain-dead NATO. French leader hits at US unilateralism. Merkel and Pompeo defend military alliance. Smoke and mirrors, they are all on the same side. This is why nothing ever changes, no matter who you vote for. This is why voting should be classed as a mental disease, because you're voting for your own enslavement. Javid tears up rules to allow spending but blocks Johnson on big tax cuts. Twitter spying charges turns spotlight on Riyadh, which is Saudi Arabia capital, I believe. And finally, which famous men or women were born on your birthday? You got me, dude. None. Only babies were born. My neighbour just yelled at her kids so loud that even I brushed my teeth and went to bed. Never sing in the shower. Singing leads to dancing. Dancing leads to slipping. And slipping leads to paramedics seeing you naked. So remember, don't sing in the shower.